This is a lesson for the D minor section of my Volume 2 method book. So there's a link for the book underneath the video, but feel free to watch for free and get some tips. So we're going to go over some D melodic minor scales, and then some arpeggios and triads, and some chords. Then we're going to go over a Duet by Remo, and then a Leccio by Sagreras. So the D melodic minor scale, this is just the 1 octave scale. So remember, we have a B flat in there, and we'll also have a B natural and a C sharp, because the melodic minor raises the 6th and 7th degree going up and then lowers it going down. So the 1 octave D minor scale. And again, let's just use our 4th finger on the top 2 strings and our 3rd finger on B flat. If you wish to use your 4th finger, that's not a big deal on B flat, but I just use it on my 3rd finger there instead of 4. But feel free, that's 1 fingering where I could have gone either way. So the position scale for D minor goes to the top note in that position of the guitar, which is a G, and then it goes to the lowest note, the open E, and then returns to D. Just for the purposes of reading music within a key, you need to know all the notes within the key, not just the notes of the 1 octave scale or 2 octave scale. So the D melodic minor position scale. The 1 octave D minor arpeggio, so again, this is just a broken up chord, played 1 note at a time. So we're going to have the F, the A, and the D all played in here, but we have to make sure we get the open D in there as well. One more time. You can start with your fingers down, but I actually maybe recommend that you just put them down 1 at a time and then leave them down. Okay, and then the D minor triads. The root position triad is a little awkward, so we're just starting with first inversion, so that's F in the bass. And then we're going to put second inversion, that's A in the bass. And then return to first inversion. And remember, don't worry about the theory so much at this level of your development. We'll talk more about the theory later. Right now, get some experience playing them and recognizing what they look like in notation. So the D minor chord progression, it'll go through a 1 chord, a 5 chord, a 2 chord, which is a half diminished chord, and then a 5/7 chord and a 1 chord. So again, we do these to recognize the chords in our pieces, to aid memory function and technique and everything, but also just to learn them for chord strumming, because we should be able to do all the things that normal guitarists do. Even though we might consider ourselves classical guitarists, we should know basic chords. So D minor, or 1, 5 chord, A, the 2 half diminished chord, or E half diminished, 5/7 chord, A7, and D minor, the 1 chord. Okay, so now this Duet by Remo. In this, if you have a teacher or a friend, you can play this as a duet with them. But for this particular duet, and this is the only time this happens in the book for these duets, is I want you to play the lower part, just to get some experience playing lower notes, of course, and also just to avoid the upper position ornaments that are in this piece, and the upper position playing that's in this piece. So you're on the lower part, and you can play this as a solo or a duet. It's a little bit more satisfying as a duet, and I have a separate video, so you can watch the separate video that where I'm playing it with someone, so you can kind of hear what it sounds like as a duet. But it's still good practice for you to be reading in D minor a single line. So the lower part, so use IM for the most part, but you can use the occasional thumb, especially on those low A staccato notes. Not much to talk about there. It might feel a little awkward at first to use your fingers on all those bass notes, but I think it's well worth it when you're playing a legato melody like that. On those bass staccato notes, you just place your thumb back on the note immediately to stop the sound. Not much else to say, just a little bit of practice. You have to just be kind of careful for a couple of the notes, some of the C sharps and things like that. But besides that, I think you'll find it pretty easy. Just remember your B flat in the key signature, of course. Okay, this Leccio number 55 by Sagreras. This is a solo piece in or study in D minor. So again, don't forget your B flats. Every bar of this piece covers a chord, so you should try to recognize some of the chords, not all of them. You don't have to know all of them at this stage, but start recognizing some of them, such as the D minor chord in the first bar. If you recognize it as a D minor, you don't really have to read each individual note. You can just recognize it and dive right in. Second bar is an A7 chord. And so by recognizing some of these chord shapes, you don't have to read every note. But don't worry about recognizing every single one. You just want to gain some experience in this kind of musical world and the music theory world for now, and then at a later point, you can learn a lot more about this, of course. So hold down all the notes within a bar and think sustaining chords. So not like this, but hold all notes down. And then the top note, played with the A finger, is a little bit of a melody, so just bring that A finger out a little bit extra. So it's just a little arpeggio study, right? And you can go a little faster if you like. Or go slower. But again, it's more just dependent on your ability to hold those notes down and transition from one chord to the next as smoothly as possible. When you're transitioning, just try to get the first note that you have to get next, and then leave your fingers down afterwards. Actually, going from the second bar to the third bar is a great example. Get the first finger, and you can get the fourth finger afterwards because it comes in later. Just get whatever finger's needed. If you can hold a finger over, like the C sharp, great. But get whatever finger is needed next, and then hold your fingers down for a smooth transition from bar to bar. But I think after going all over the other pieces in this book, you'll find this one pretty easy. Just remember that B flat in the key signature.